So I'm sitting here waiting for the municipal electrician to join me so that we can try and get something sorted out in the in the area. Electrical problem that happened, 3 electrical problems that happened last night after the storm or during the storm. I often think about making videos like this about what it is that we do. It's not just me, it's a couple of people that are involved. And often I stop thinking about doing that because it's pretty senseless, because you don't understand the context. And maybe one of the reasons you don't understand the context is because you don't ever sit and watch something like this and have it all explained to you. And those of us that are in it tend to just get on with it and do what we have to do to try and make things carry on going. And when you look at it from our context, when you look at it and you see how much time is being spent on trying to keep the wheels turning, even though it's not our job, we don't get paid for it, none of that stuff. We're just trying to make life a little bit easier or less unpleasant. When you look at it from that perspective, you sometimes get to a point of thinking, well, wouldn't it be better to just let the wheels fall off completely? And I think there's actually a lot of merit in that approach, as negative as that sounds, because the system itself is broken to the point that it can't actually be used in its current format. The system can't actually be used to repair the damage that's been done through lack of maintenance and just the general savagery of society. The culture that we have in our society is one of destruction. It's primarily based on destruction. So what can you get out of it for free? And whether that means stealing it or whatever. The culture itself is broken, and therefore the system is broken. And the system was predicated on a different culture. How that culture has changed over the decades is pretty straightforward when you look at what has been allowed, what has been tolerated, the behavior that's been tolerated. It's fairly straightforward as to why we sit with what we do at the moment. But anyway, getting to a point where the wheels fall off completely and then somebody else can maybe pick up the pieces, maybe fix the broken stuff. It's also a problem because I don't know that that's going to happen in our lifetimes, because the long-reaching effect of tolerating the behavior of the savages, the effect of that is long-reaching, and I don't know that anything's going to change until something really radical happens. And this was brought home to me the other day by a friend that's recently come back from the far north of Africa, up in Rwanda. And he said to me that if he was 20 years younger, he would move there tomorrow. And when you think about Rwanda, you think about all the genocide, the murder, the rape, pillage and plunder, the absolute savagery that occurred in that place, and probably still does in neighboring countries. But something that he was taken aback by was the way that people are friendly, the way that people are wanting to make things better. People are poor, but they appreciate what they have, and they don't want to steal everything. And I wonder if that's not because they hit rock bottom. I wonder if that's not because the wheels fell off completely. And it's abhorrent to think that that might be the solution, that the rape, pillage and plunder make everything so bad, so unbearable, that everybody appreciates every breath that they take. It's abhorrent to think that it needs to get that bad before people will wake up and actually take notice of what's going on. Now, this might sound like a little bit of a political speech and some sort of motivational thing to do the right thing. It's not that at all. Part of the problem that we sit with here is the politicians in the country are inherently corrupt. It seems to be a prerequisite for having a political position in this country that you are in some way mentally twisted, that you are quite happy to benefit at the expense of others. And I don't say that lightly, but it does seem to be a common theme across the board, and it doesn't matter which party it is. Every single one of them, they all get into it and they make noises about, we're going to change this and we're going to do that, and yet nothing happens. And the reason for that is that people tolerate the same behavior. They've been taught to tolerate that behavior. And the politicians that get into it might even get into it at the beginning with some grand idea that they can make things better. But very soon they seem to just become like the rest. And we have examples of that right from the lowest level in the community, or at this level, this municipal level, all the way up, right up to the top. And if anyone wants to dispute that, have at it. Tell me where I'm wrong, because anyone that continues to think that they can fix a problem by creating more problems is either delusional or evil. And I use that word evil in the fullest sense of the term. I believe that we have that problem, that we've arrived at that point in time, in history, that evil is in fact the thing that's running the show, or at least in control of the show and dictating how it is that the rest of society will suffer. I see a lot of things that a lot of other people that just get on with their lives every day, I see a lot of things that they don't. And I've been into some places where people live and the conditions are absolutely horrendous. And when you stand in places like that and look at life going on, despite the hardships, you can only think that the conditions are created by something that is evil, because anybody that is in any way linked to directing how society will develop in the country, anyone that is in that position and sees those conditions and doesn't think that it needs to be changed immediately is evil. Now, if you're one of those people, well, then I'm calling you that. You'll get over it. In fact, you'll probably smile and then ignore it. But yeah, we've got a serious problem on our hands right now. Like I said, I'm sitting here waiting for the electrician to come here from the municipality. And before we go and try and deal with the problems, before we do that, I'm going to put fuel in his vehicle, because the vehicle that he uses, the municipal vehicle paid for by your taxes, your rates, doesn't have enough fuel in it. Anyway, like I said, the context of all of this is complicated, and it's, I suppose you can't really understand it unless you've spent some time sort of immersed in it. But I can tell you that the problem that we face is huge. It really is.